Today I'm going to attempt one of the most difficult shooting challenges I ever have on my shooting range. I'm going to explain to you what it is. What I want to do is set a shooting pace on 3 shooting challenges with my SIG 320 red dot pistol, which is a state-of-the-art semi-automatic pistol. And then I want to see if I can keep up with my Single Action Army doing the same challenge, which is a 150-year-old design. And so it's unlikely that I can beat it with the Single Action Army, but I want to see how close I can come. And the way I'm going to do that, to kind of compare apples to apples, is we're going to try to rate speed with accuracy. And to explain what I'm talking about, if I were to set up on a bench here with sandbags and shoot those targets and shoot a dot and take 5 minutes to do it, you know, that would be accuracy with no speed. And that has a place in shooting and bench shooting and stuff. But that's not what I'm talking about, because to me that's just accuracy without speed. If I were to draw in a split second and shoot at one of those targets and completely miss it, that's speed without accuracy. So I'm trying to get the balance of speed and accuracy. And in competition shooting, they have a way to measure that. It's called hit factor. And what they do is they shoot these USPSA targets. Now I'm going to show you the white side, and the reason why is because I'm going to be shooting mostly the white sides because the bullet holes show up better on camera. But in competition, you shoot the brown side and you avoid the white sides. But well, maybe I'll just demonstrate here. It says they're labeled. Okay, so in USPSA shooting, the A zone is like the bullseye. There's an A zone there and a little A zone there, and that's the highest scoring zone. And you get 5 points if you get a bullet in either one of these zones. Okay, and if you're outside of these ideal zones, which would be like a kill shot on a bad guy, then you're in this area. That's called a C zone. And if you're shooting minor power factor, then you get 3 points for that zone. And then the outer zone is the D zone, which is the closest thing to a miss, but you still get 2 points in minor power factor. And I'll explain what power factor is in a minute. So in minor power factor, it's 5, 3, and 2. Okay, and then you time that, and for the challenge I'm going to draw and shoot 2 times. The challenge is to shoot the target 2 times for each little stage that I'm going to do. And we're going to do a close stage, a medium stage, and a far stage. Okay, so for an example, if the beeper went off and I reacted to the beeper and I drew and I shot 2 bullets in the A zone, each one of those bullets is worth 5 points. So that's 5 plus 5 is 10 points. If I did it in exactly 1 second, you take points divided by time, and that would be a hit factor of 10. Okay, so it's a ratio. It's like miles per hour. That's what it is. It's a way of comparing speed and accuracy. So that's what hit factor is. I'll walk you through it a little bit as we go. So that's the challenge. And when I mocked this up the other day between the 2 guns, and I will show you the 2 guns now. When I mocked this up, I was shooting minor power factor with the SIG 320. Okay, this is my state-of-the-art SIG 320 Legion pistol. It's got extra weight added to it to make it more stable. It's got a red dot optic on it, and it shoots minor. Okay, so it scores like I was saying. When I did that comparison to my Single Action Army, there was no comparison because I'm shooting minor with the Single Action Army. I was shooting minor with it, okay? And again, to review, the Single Action Army is a 150-year-old design. You have to verify it's not loaded here. You have to cock the hammer each time before you fire it, or you can hold the hammer down, hold the trigger down, and then fan it. Those are the 2 ways to do it. So there's 2 things you have to do. It's much slower. It's a 150-year-old design, okay? So it's much harder to shoot. There's really no comparison. That other gun is so much better than this gun that there's no way that this gun could keep up with that gun at all, except I'm going to apply my fast draw and fanning techniques to it. And then it has a chance, but accuracy is hard to come by with fanning, not that kind of accuracy. So anyway, getting back to what I was talking about, when I compared the 2 guns shooting minor, that gun blew it away. I couldn't even come close to it in minor because I was shooting 140 power factor in this thing. So I got to thinking, well, that's not going to be any fun if we do that, and the semi-auto just blows it away. So what could I do to even the playing field a little bit? And I got an idea. In USPSA, if you shoot major power factor, and that means a power factor of 165 or more versus the 125 or more that's in the minor category. For major power factor, now they score it differently because the thought is if you weren't quite as accurate, but the round is so much more powerful, it would do more damage, and that's how they score. So in major, these zones still just score 5, because I mean you can't make a bad guy more than dead, all right? So a perfect shot is still a 5, that's the same. But if you're in the C zone, instead of getting 3 points, you get 4 points. Okay, so that gives them the greater power, the advantage. And then in the D zone, instead of being 2 points, it's 3 points. So instead of being 5, 3, and 2, like in minor, it's 5, 4, 3. Okay, so that would give me a way to make it closer. Now there's a price to be paid for that, and the price is major power factor is much more powerful, and you have to manage the recoil. And I had never shot this gun with major power factor before. The most I'd shot is, I never fanned it with major power factor. My typical loads are 140 power factor, whereas those in the other gun are about 130. So I was shooting at a disadvantage too, you know, so I was shooting more power than I needed to, but I still had the scoring disadvantage. So decided to go to major power factor, and I found some ammunition I loaded years ago, and it was 45 ACP, okay, 230 grain ball, and I had loaded these for competition years ago to make 170 power factor. And that is, put some notes on here somewhere. That's in the other room. That bullet is doing 780 feet per second with, I think, 780, 790 with a 230 grain bullet. And that makes a power factor of about 170, which is 5 more than the minimum to make major. So if I shoot it in major power factor, I get the major power factor scoring. The gun's kicking harder than ever. And so when I fan it, I really have to clamp down on it. When I draw it, I got to have a much firmer grip on it before I fan it. That takes a little bit of time, and the gun bucks harder, so it's harder to get down to that next shot. So it's really a shooting challenge that's way up there. I've never done it before my practice yesterday, and just have to see what happens with it. So I think it'll be interesting. So I'm going to get geared up. And I'm gonna set the pace with the SIG 320 first. I'm gonna do all 3 challenges, and then I'm gonna switch up to the Single Action Army and see how close I can come. So stay tuned. Here we go. Okay, I got my gear on. Got my SIG 320 red dot pistol. I don't know if you can see in the camera lens there. There's a red dot, and where that dot is where the bullet is gonna go. It's much easier to shoot. This gun is so easy to shoot. It's why I got bored with it. I went to the Single Action Army in fanning. But we're going to start with this gun. We're going to try to set the pace. This is the first challenge. It's the close shot. I'm going to react to the timer. I'm going to draw and fire 2 times, trying to hit the A zone, and then we'll check the time and work out the power factor, which is again, that's the speed to accuracy ratio. I'm going to warm up with a couple of dry fire draws with the timer, just like I will with the Single Action Army. Oh, that was bad. Gotta be faster than that. Okay, here we go. 2 shots on the target. Forgot to chamber one. All right. A little rusty here. Now we're gonna go. I got one in the chamber. Okay. So there are our 2 hits. The time was 1:22 to react to the timer, draw and fire 2 shots on this target. Okay, so like I was explaining before, each A zone hit counts as 5 points. Okay, so we get our calculator here. All right, so we got 10 points there for the 2 hits. That's 10. We divide it by the time. The time was 1.22 seconds. 1.22 seconds, and that gives a hit factor of 8.196. Okay, which is pretty good. All right, so for the close challenge here, hit factor 8.196. Okay, so that's the pace that we set on the close target, which, by the way, is a pretty high pace for me to try to keep up with. Because even though I'm shooting major now with the Single Action Army, I can't beat it in score. I can only beat it in time. So that was really kind of a perfect run, you could say. I mean, it can be done faster, of course, and that's the only chance I have really with the Single Action Army. I've got to get the 2As, and I got to do it faster than 1.22 seconds. Okay, so now we're gonna back up, and we're gonna do the medium challenge, the medium distance challenge, and we're gonna do the same thing again, firing the 2 shots into the same target, and we're gonna see how fast we can do that. And as you back up, of course, it typically takes a little bit more time to do that. Okay, so we're going for the target on the left again. No more warm up. All right, it's a good shot. It'd be a kill shot on a real person, but in USPSA that counts as a C hit, so it's considered a slight error. So we're gonna go score that. The time was 1:18. It was actually faster, which is a little bit unusual to be faster farther away, but that's just how it came out. But I also didn't shoot quite as accurately. But you can tell I'm not sandbagging it. I mean, I want to see the Single Action Army win, but I'm not gonna sandbag the semi-automatics runs either. So those are our 2 hits, 2 Cs, and if you remember what I told you before, each C in minor counts as 3 points. So that's 6 points divided by the time of 1:18. So it's a little faster. This kind of, it helps you understand how hit factor works too mathematically. Okay, so 6 divided by 1.18 equals 5.084 hit factor. Okay, so you can see the hit factor dropped off because of the inaccuracy. Even though I was faster, the score is lower because the accuracy wasn't in the A zone. So the mid-range hit factor is 5.084. So that's the next pace that I have to try to keep up with. Okay, so now we got the far range. Now the far range is where the semi-automatic pistol is really going to shine. It's very difficult for me to even hit the target at all from the far range that I'm going to do. And I mean, it's really hard to get both. If I get one shot on there with the Single Action Army, I'll be doing pretty good. To be honest with the red dot, it's easy, and I could hit that thing twice as far away too because I got the red dot. I'm using sights. Okay, so here's our far range. Same target there. Trying to get 2 in the A zone. How fast I can do it. Okay, 218 for the 2 shots. And so we'll score that, and then we'll write that down, and then I'm going to gear up for the Single Action Army and just see if we can keep up with that pace or how close we can come. Okay, so what you see here in USPSA scoring, that counts as 2 A's because that's touching the line. So that's 2 A's. The shooting hit the highest zones in 2.18. So doing the math on it, let's see. That's 10 points divided by 2.18. So the hit factor is 4.587 for the far challenge. Far hit factor 4.587. Okay, so that's the pace we're going to try to keep up with here with the Single Action Army, or see how close we can come to it. I don't know if the camera can see that. I wrote that down there. That's our pace. Hit factor 8.1, close, 5.0 in the mid-range, and 4.5 in the long range. So I'm going to tape that up and gear up. I'm going to shut the camera off and gear up for the Single Action Army, change out, get in my fast draw holster, and we'll do that. Okay, I'm geared up with my Single Action Army fast draw holster, 170 power factor, 230 grain ball, 45 ACP ammunition. And we get one run to hit the timer and put 2 in that cardboard, hopefully in the A zones. We're going to try to do it as fast or faster as the semi-automatic state-of-the-art pistol. And that was a pretty good run that I did. I had 2 alpha, so all I can do is beat it with time. I will say one thing, if I hit a dead primer, I'm going to do a do-over, or if I miss my fan stroke, I'm going to do a do-over, because this is hard enough as it is. Even though you wouldn't do that in a competition, we're just having fun here. So here we go. Missed my fan stroke. I'm going to do it over again. That was 174 because I had to go 3 times. Hit factor on that would be, out of curiosity, the 8 points divided by 1.74 be hit factor of 4.5, which is like half of that. So I'm going to do it again because I missed my fan stroke. One more time. I'm not going to cherry pick the whole day, but that's a lot of power to manage fanning with one hand, by the way. There's no compensator, the gun's not heavy or anything like that, so it's a handful. I know I can do, but I at least want to get a fast run on it. It may not be accurate, but it's going to be fast, so bear with me. We'll put 2 more cartridges in here. The Single Action Army is just a lot harder to shoot in general. It's more complicated, especially when you're fanning it. You can try and do it fast, you can shoot it slow, it's no problem, but trying to perform at a high level. My accuracy was good, pretty good on the first shot, but I don't want to miss fan strokes. Alright, that ain't too bad. Probably not going to beat the other time, but I got an Alpha Charlie. Okay, so I got a AC. The accuracy wasn't quite as good as the SIG 320, but the speed was better. I don't remember what that speed was. I think it's 120. Okay, so let's do the math on this one. We got trains again. Okay, 5 points plus 4 points, because I'm shooting major power factor. 9 points divided by 1.05 seconds. Makes a hit factor of 8.57, and I actually beat the other gun. Okay, even though I got a Charlie, I was enough faster that the way the points worked out, I barely beat the SIG 320 there. Now I did take a second run to do it, but you got to cut me a break somewhere, okay? So on the second try, the Single Action Army close run, hit factor was 8.57 per there, 1, okay? And I'm very pleased with that, even though it took 2 tries. Okay, so now we're going to move back, got to tape it first. Now we're going to move back to that far distance. Or no, the mid distance, and we're going to do it again. And once you start backing up, it gets a lot harder to hit this target accurately. But we will see how close we can come. Okay. The mid-range now. with the Single Action Army. Find my footprints here. Okay. I'm going to turn on that other camera too. Hope I don't shoot it. I haven't shot it. I've been filming with that camera for 7 years, and I've never shot it, but I know I've come close. I've sprayed it with fractured bullets. It's on its last legs. The camera housing's cracked and it's got issues, but okay. So I'm sure that angle's gonna see what we're doing there. Okay, so that one's recording, this one's recording. I'm gonna do this in one run. In mid-range, gotta hit the target. Okay, I got 2 Charlies. And the other time I got 2 Charlies. I think I'm a bit faster. I don't remember what the time was. We'll work out the hit factor on it. I'm gonna shut this camera off. Okay, so 2 Charlies, which are 4 points each. And we did that in 1.36. So I should have done the time first. I'm gonna tape these real quick. 2 Charlies. So that's 8 points divided by 1.36. Let's see where it came out. Eight points divided by 1.36 seconds is a hit factor of 5.88. I did beat it. 5.88 on the mid-range hit factor. 5.882. Okay, so far we are beating the state-of-the-art red dot pistol in hit factor. Had to cheat a little bit on the first run, take 2 runs, but still, it's not bad. Okay, so we got the far run to go yet. Turn this other camera on. Okay, so we're gonna do the last run now. And see where we come out. And then I might total the scores and just see if you total it like a match where it would come out. Now I gotta be honest, I'll be doing good to hit that target 1 out of 2 times from back here, from way back on the far run. It's a long way. It's really hard to hit the target. I miss it more than I hit it in practice. So we move all the way back here, and we'll try it again. Last run. Try to optimize the angle there. Not shoot my camera too. It's a serious possibility from this distance. Okay. Here we go. Completely missed it. Took a 0 on that one. Should I try it one more time? I will. Let me shut the cameras off and reset. Okay, I'm gonna take one more run at it. If we miss it again, we'll take a 0 on it. Ah, I got it. Looks like Delta. It might be an Alpha. I'm not sure. In 1:17, it was fast too, so we'll see. I mean, if you cheat enough, you can beat a semi-automatic with a Single Action Army, I'll tell you that right now. Took 2 runs at it, which I ain't real proud of, but you gotta consider how hard that is. second run, we got it. Alpha Delta. Okay, so it's the A zone 5 points, the D zone 3 points. So it's 8 points in 1.17. So we'll do our math here. 8 divided by 1.17 equals 6.8 hit factor, and I did beat it. So it took a few extra runs to do it, but I got the Single Action Army to beat the SIG 320. Hit factor 6.837. Okay, so there you go. The comparison, Single Action Army to SIG 320. The SIG 320 is far easier to shoot. It's a superior gun in every way, you know, but it was kind of fun to just see just how close I could come. And I had to take 2 extra runs to do it, you know, but I'm not ashamed of that at all. So, well, there you have it, the comparison of the SIG 320 semi-automatic red dot pistol to the Single Action Army, and those are the results. I did have to take a couple of extra runs with the Single Action Army to make it happen, but so there's a little bit of cherry picking there. But it is interesting that I could even come close, really. And so I hope you guys enjoyed that, and I will see you on the next video.